So I wonder if like her way, like her split in personality, is kind of this talk to the audience type of thing. In one of our previous episodes recently, we talked about day shift and world building, and She-Hulk feels like the first Marvel property in a while that does like some actually really good world building within Marvel. I feel like we've been lacking in the world building department recently, and it puts our characters and our universe in some interesting places.
It's interesting you bring up like Bruce and Hawkeye being the only ones like left on Earth, and we saw obviously Bruce kind of bringing up to Jen like you have to stay and become a superhero because the Earth needs defenders. Like that's his whole thing, and you kind of felt really bad for him too, where it's like she was brutally honest with him and very mean. Like, hey, you spent like 10 years running away from your family and then another 5 years in isolation to try and figure out your problems of yourself and the other guy. It's interesting too that, you know, in the comics and what I've seen with like the animated shows and movies when it comes to like She-Hulk, yeah, she's never really had like the other person the way that the Hulk has another person. Like there's, you know, two people or two identities within the Hulk, and then with Bruce. With her, it doesn't seem like there is necessarily another person, which I'm wondering if they're going to change that or if that's, you know, they're going to keep it true to the comics.
I think Arjuna has an interesting theory on that.
Yeah, I think the like quote unquote other personality is the fourth wall breaking, right? We have no evidence that she like used to talk to the fourth wall pre She-Hulk abilities. So I wonder if like her way, like her split in personality, is kind of this talk to the audience type of thing, and maybe that'll be explored further as the show goes on. But it is interesting because like obviously this show comes pretty close to the release of Moon Knight, which was a show that dealt with multiple personalities. So I do also wonder, because like you said, Ravi, traditionally She-Hulk doesn't necessarily have like a second personality, at least like not in a lot of the comics and the shows and animated shows that I've consumed. So I do wonder if it was intentional. They knew obviously the release dates would be kind of close, that it might be kind of duplicitous to do personalities again so soon, just a few months after you basically had a show all about that.
I like the idea though that the fourth wall is, you know, the other person or the other personality created because of the gamma radiation and the green goo, if you will. Because Deadpool, right, is another famous comic book character.
Fourth wall breaker.
Fourth wall breaks all the freaking time. So, you know, there's nothing to say that you can't have multiple characters doing that, but
so does Moon Knight at some point.
In some points in the comics,
well. Yeah.
I wonder if everybody, like I know Spider-Man has done it as well. In fact, there's one of the better Spider-Man animated shows that came out like in the 2010s. He actually does that as well, where he stops and talks to you, the audience, in the actual animated show as well. So